Hello everyone, I'm Phoenix Tremayne, and today I'm going to give you your February sweeps for the soaps. But first, if you haven't done so, please take a minute to subscribe. If you have subscribed, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Please hit that like button, because every time you hit that like button, it lets YouTube know it's a good channel for soap fans so they can be part of our soap fam. Also, don't forget to go ahead in the comment section and interact with the soap fam, which is very useful and helpful, and a lot of people become friends. And we also have a membership where you get early access to videos, exclusive videos, and more, so much more. You can go ahead at least give that membership at least a 1 month try. But right now, I'm about to go ahead and give you these February sweep spoilers. And we're going to talk first about Xander and Sarah. So, when the story with Philip laundering money shakes out, Xander doesn't get the pat on the head and thank you he expects from Victor. So it makes Xander want to break from Titan. By breaking from that, what does he have left? He has Sarah. The one thing he knows he wants to do now is marry Sarah. So we got Xander and Sarah potentially taking the next step in their relationship, which is marriage, and that'll make a lot of Xander and Sarah fans happy. I get a feeling they're not going to make it down the aisle just because later on in here, I'm going to be talking about talking about Steve and Kayla, because they're going to be getting married on Valentine's Day. Well, they're next. Steve and Kayla, knowing that their anniversary is on Valentine's Day, it has always been the plan and in the works for a while that we would have them get remarried on their anniversary. So we have that to look forward to on Valentine's Day. So Steve and Kayla fans, time to get excited, because all those weddings happened last year and Steve and Kayla didn't get married then. It's because they always planned for them to get married in February. Paulina, this is the character that's going to be played by Jack K. Harry. Ron says, I cannot be more excited for this story with Jack K. Harry. I wanted to flesh Lonnie and Eli's family out a little more and keep them front and center. So Paulina shows up on the heels of the kidnapping story and comes in as her splashy self. You'll see exactly who she is when she comes in. I really wanted Paulina to not be a family member, because I'm almost 100% sure they're going to probably pair her up with Abe. But we need more black families. And she has a daughter, so I'm still hoping that maybe the doctor is her daughter and she's trying to get out of trouble or something. But yeah, Jack K comes in February, during February sweeps, and I thought that there was a report that said that she wasn't coming in until March, but she's part of the February sweeps preview. We have Ben and Sierra. This is one of the ones people have been waiting for, and this is going to be a little controversial. So, Ben and Sierra, the challenge of telling this story is that they're not together, and people want to see Ben and Sierra together. So we had to find a way to play them together. I've always been fascinated when a couple is written in the stars, fated to be together. Marlena can feel when John is in danger, for example, and so we really decided to go with that and make it a component of the story that Ben and Sierra are finding ways to reach out to one another almost on a psychic plane during this time. So, I've been waiting for word on whether or not Sierra is actually full-time committed back on the show. I always knew she was coming back on February sweeps. I read that a long time ago. But, you know, sometimes I hold things back just to make sure things are verified and correct. And here it is, February sweeps. It was right. She's back. And the big question for me is, for how long? So will Ben actually find Sierra, or will he just have more of a feeling than ever when February sweeps is over that she's out there, and that, you know, he still has keeping hope alive? Because technically the last report we had on Sierra is that she's reoccurring and she will be coming back every now and then. So if Sierra does not come back to the show full time, now she might, but if Sierra does not come back to the show full time, that'll also explain why Hope isn't coming back, because they found Sierra. So I haven't been really talking about the Ben and Sierra situation that much because I saw how so many people are so excited that, she's back and she's not a ghost. And, they were like, Robert, who plays Ben, was like, trust the process. And for months, people have been repeating trust the process like a mantra. And then I saw him celebrating. And I said, who am I to come in and remind these people that she's still reoccurring as far as we know? And that just because we see that she's alive, it don't mean she signed that contract to come back full time. So, hopefully she did, because it's hard to get work out there. That's why we got Gabby back. But I don't know. The verdict is still out whether or not this is going to be Sierra back full time. Fingers crossed. So one of the things they're also talking about is a murder mystery. Salem is going to be rocked by a stunning murder. We're doing a whodunit, which I always find to be fun and challenging. I think people like a murder mystery, but the challenge for us is to lay out the clues and the groundwork correctly so that we tell a story fairly, yet it's not so obvious who did it. Now, the thing I've been struggling with is I'm assuming that Sammy coming back means the murder victim is going to be Charlie. There was also a report that Charlie goes out with a bang. So I'm guessing that Charlie is the murder victim in the murder mystery. However, I also read, and I'll be reading, that Gwen's story is going to be tragic. Now, Gwen's story being tragic, Laura's machinations with keeping the secret that Jack had a daughter is going to lead to a tragedy. Now, that tragedy could be she gets killed, and Gwen is the actual murder mystery. There's another spooler that says Chad covers for his wife, Abigail. What is Chad covering for Abigail for? So that's why I was like, the murder mystery is probably Charlie, but I'm also seeing these other spoilers over here about Chad protecting Abigail and covering for her, and that there's going to be some tragedy in conjunction with the Gwen story. So I'm like, who is going to be the murder victim? But with Sammy coming back, and I'm pretty sure they're going to have Sammy be one of the potential suspects in the murder mystery. And people were already out trying to hurt Tripp the whole time. They thought he was the one that hurt Allie, which means that, there's way more people that are suspects when it comes to a Charlie whodunit versus suspects of Gwen whodunit. It's only Abigail, Chad, Jack and Jennifer wouldn't do it, or Laura. So, Chad, Abigail, Laura. Those are the people that most likely could be a suspect in a Gwen whodunit. Whereas you've got Allie, Tripp, Kayla, Steve, Sammy, Kate, I can't think of his name right now, but the dad, Roman. There's just so many people. Ava, Nicole. So, Lucas. I couldn't remember his name, but his name's Lucas. So I just named 10 people that could be realistic suspects in a Charlie murder and like 3 people for a Gwen murder. So that's just something I've been working out in my head about a whodunit potentially with between Gwen and Charlie as victims. Moving on. Laura turns out to be the key to the Gwen and Jack story and bring clarity. What she reveals kicks off yet another explosion that will have a ripple effect that ultimately ends in tragedy. That's what I was talking about. That's what I was talking about. It's going to have some big consequences for everybody. Ultimately ends in tragedy. So does Gwen commit suicide? I mean, I don't know. What is the tragedy in that storyline? Because I just assumed the next part of the storyline would be Gwen being pregnant. Sammy Returns. I've been lucky that Allison Sweeney has come back from these stints. We have her for a pretty good chunk of time, which is great. I always like to introduce Sammy with a bang, in a big way, and at a critical moment. And this time, all of those boxes are checked. What's great about her, too, is that... Where is it? What's great about her is that she usually finds herself in a mess and is usually of her own making. So yeah, maybe she thought Allie killed Charlie and she was found with trying to get rid of the gun or something. So I can see them doing like a story like that with Sammy. Vivian, Ivan, Eli, and Lonnie. From the moment we saw Ivan as Raynor's employer, that was our way of tipping our hat that Vivian is involved in that story. What you will see when we introduce Vivian is that we put a bit of a twist on it, and that her getting the babies wasn't exactly a straight line. Psychologically, it made sense that this isn't even a revenge story. This is a woman who is getting a second chance to raise twins. Carter and Jules are stand-ins as surrogates for Stefan and Jake. There is some zany fun, but emotional stakes are very high because Eli and Lonnie have had their children taken from them. So Vivian's main motivation for taking the kids isn't that she just hates Eli and Lonnie, is that psychologically she's replacing Jules and Carter with Stefan and Jake, the children she didn't get a chance to raise. Then we have Kristen, Brady, and Chloe. We've seen Kristen trapped in Statesville alone. Her imagination is running away with her. With regards to Brady and Chloe, how can she find control when she's locked up in prison? We found a fun way to do that, and you'll see how her plan unfolds and how she intends to insinuate herself between Brady and Chloe. And right now, and I'm going to get to another spoiler, then I'm going to explain what I think her plan is. So before I get to that, now I told you I was going to mention some other spoilers that weren't February sweeps. Gabby makes Xander an offer. Jake asks Kate to work for Demira. Jake asks Kate to work for Demira. Victor has good news for Philip. Kristen summons an unlikely visitor. So the Victor has good news for Philip is, of course, Victor not tossing Philip out the company, which makes Xander mad, which is the other spoiler I read earlier. Kristen summons an unlikely visitor. That's going to be Susan Banks. So my guess is the way Kristen will be able to keep an eye on Brady and Chloe is by switching place with Susan. And so we'll have Kristen pretending to be Susan again, run around Salem, probably going after Chloe, pretending to be Susan, and hijinks will ensue, and possibly attempted murder. But the only question I have is, why would Susan agree to the switch? Unless it's one of those situations like Bonnie and Adrian, where she switches with her and then nobody believes Susan that she's not Kristen. So I think the last one we're going to be going over is going to be Kate, Jake, Gabby, and Philip. We know there are a lot of Jake and Gabby fans out there, but we wanted this couple to have an obstacle to overcome. So that's why they've put Kate and Jake with Jake, and Gabby, it looks like, is going to use Philip to try to make Jake jealous and to also get under Kate's skin by using her son as a way of getting to Jake. So that's why they got those foursome together, We got Brady with Chloe, and Kristen and Susan and all that stuff going on. And I think that Philip is probably going to be flirting with Gabby back just to get Chloe's attention. Because the end game, as it says, is to eventually get Jake back with Gabby. They're just not trying to make it easy. But in the meantime, they've got Kate and Philip as part of this quadrangle to keep them apart temporarily. Eventually they'll be back together. And since Jake and Gabby are in game of getting back together, that means Philip is going to be free to keep going back after Chloe. And also Kate will be free to potentially try to get Abe back when they got this Jackie Harry character Paulina coming in. And she's just the right age range for Abe on the show. So I couldn't imagine her with any other characters like Roman or somebody. But yeah, I think that's how it's gonna play out. They look like they were testing the chemistry between Jake and Kate again. Kate and Abe again when they were at the table together. So yeah, I think that is some of my predictions. Let me see. I think there was one more that I didn't go through. Okay, the last thing is Julie and Gwen have a heated encounter. Gabby warns Rafe about Nicole. And Jake makes a decision about Gabby Chic. So since he's hiring Kate to be for Demir, does that mean he's putting her in charge of Gabby Chic? Because that would make Gabby pissed. Not saying that'll happen, but I'm just trying to put these pieces together. So let me know in the comment section what you think about the February sweeps for Days of Our Lives. And I will see you in the next video.
All right.